all day long. Madhuri, Atmara, and Giri have been working on it. From the sun, from it's melting and freezing and those changes. At present, I have no plan. But God knows only. Maharaj. Turn the outside lights. Fire aimed right at me, out to get me. This one is it's a birch wood from Home Depot. It's a pretty good wood.
Okay, I'm starting to feel it. A little bit of a breeze.
It's the weather is changing now, huh?
October in the canyon. Okay.
Jai Ma Idi, welcome back.
Thank you.
Maybe we can pull, if we pull the bench a little back, people can sit on the, Peter, maybe pull the bench, because it's meant to be kind of two batches. If the whole bench can go back like a foot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or she moves forward.
Well, because no, that people can sit, yeah. Okay. It wasn't placed right. You're in? Okay. You're also there?
She stayed long.
Giri, do you have your phone records sound? Do you have
Yes.
can you, where we need a microphone for the podcast and we'll upload it. Thanks. We have that like voice recording, let's put it here. Thank you. Thank you. There's samagri if anybody wants to offer, if you already offered. Govinda, Govinda. Can you check the camera, make sure it hasn't moved anything, that it's right? If you touch it, then head gets chopped off, or if it's... You okay? Okay.
We're good. Check the camera.
Jai Ma. Nice to see you again. Live. This is the actual Duni. over here if you, or if you need a bench
May
instead
I
of, yeah,
sit?
yes, of course.
Bad news.
Yeah, please. That's why we have him here.
Because what happens with broccoli, there's curry seeds
Yeah.
or curry leaf plant, and inside what you do is you squeeze it, and then you just put it in the earth. So you have to squeeze it like a grape, open it,
And then you,
and then you plant it, curry leaf.
let's see what Ma brings. We've tried, people have brought plants, but they've never survived here. Jai Ma, Jai Ma. Om Mangalam Gurudevaya Devye Matrikcha Mangalam Mangalam Bhakta Brindevyo Sarva Lokaya Mangalam Om Stapakaya Chadarmasya Sarva Dharma Sarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishnaya Mangalam Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Reva Param Brahman Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Om Sarashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Ashmarachara Prayantam Vande Gurum Paramparam Vande Gurum Paramparam Sri Ganesha Sharada Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Tat Sat Jai Ma Jai Mahanandji. We have a nice group tonight. It will get dark. Now the time is changing. That's why we're doing, because in a few, maybe enough. It's going to be, very soon it's going to be dark. Then we have to move inside. So I didn't want to do as many. So we've been discussing, I think this will be our 14th or 15th in the series. That was expected to be one class. I should have known better. I never learn. Things what it boils down to. I'm an optimist. I think I can do things. I can do more than I can do. On the Kali Puja, I didn't bring the small, simple. In the gift shop, can you grab a simple Kali Puja in the gift shop bookstore? Thank you. So in case there's something I can reference to, because I'm mostly going through kind of what the Nitya Kali, the larger Kali Puja, but these are just an expansion of what's in seed form in the simple Kali Puja, which is more readily available. But we're trying to make eventually the Nitya Kali Puja available. We're working on it. And we're very happy right now. We're hopefully we can also put the Devanagari in also. So it'll be Devanagari. That's been missing. Is that Devanagari, the transliteration, translation, instructions, and commentary. God willing. Smoky. Yep. So the last few weeks we've been doing the Devata Puja, especially the punch where we started with Guru, and then after purification all the preliminary rituals, and we did the opening pujas of the Devatas, starting with Guru, Ganesha, Surya, Narayan, Shiva, and Durga. And then I think that was 2 weeks ago we did, and last week we did that's a Panch Devata Puja, and we talked about that. And then last week we went through name by name or mantra by mantra the Devata Puja, and these are where we worship everyone else, literally everyone, everything. The 9 planets, the 10 directions, the 9 Durgas, the 8 Bhairavas, the 10 Dashmahavijas, the 10 avatars of Vishnu, one by all the holy places, all holy scriptures, all the great devotees, going through that section. And I think in the small book, it's very simple. Here we have a few mantras. Etaganda Pushpe Ganeshari Panchadevata Byoramaha. We worship the 5 deities beginning with Ganesha. Adityaranavagrahe Byoramaha, the 9 planets. Indrari Dashtik Pale Byoramaha, the 10 directions. Dashmahavidya Byoramaha, the 10 forms of Kali, Dashmahavidyas. Matsyari Dashavatare Byoramaha, the 10 incarnations of Vishnu. Gangari Sarvatirte Byoramaha. all the holy places, beginning with Ganga, Vedadi Sarva Shastrebhyo Namaha, all the scriptures and revelations beginning with the Vedas, Sarvebhyo Devebhyo Namaha, Sarvabhyo Devebhyo, all gods and all goddesses. That's a simple, we went through many more last week, but that's the small book. And then it's not mentioned, I don't think I put it, let me see if it says here. No. So then we have, what we do at our temple, we worship the specific deities that we have at our temple, right? So in somebody's home, it would be who else is on your shrine, right? You know, it's like you have, let's say you may have a Hanuman deity, you may have a Patanjali deity. So there's, if you know the mantras for those deities, you have Jesus and Mary on your shrine, right? Or a special saint that you have devotion for, right? Can maybe over here it is. It's a hard concrete today. So at Kali Mandir, we have a lot of deities on our shrine, right? So more than you may have, like, oh, I got this beautiful murti of Kartikeya when I was in South India, and so there's a month. So people, you have to decorate with flowers or something, or there's mantras for each one of them. And so those people can learn and find out the mantras for those deities. I remember one time Swami Sarvadevananda was doing puja here, an Amavasya puja, and he complained because there's all these deities. When it came to that part, he didn't know. I mean, he knew the deities. Somebody he said, "Who's that?" Because sometimes the forms are not obvious. Oh, Swamiji, that we worship that as Lakshmi. Oh, her as Lakshmi, but it's actually Mukambika, but we worship as Lakshmi. These type of things. He says you should have a paper with all the mantras. Of all your it's here finally, right? It's all the mantras and and pranam mantras for each one of them, because you can just worship one by one the deities, the names, but each deity can have a pranam mantra also. Like if you have Radha Krishna, then there's mantras for Radha and Krishna. Like Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu, Bandhu, there's mantras like that. And I think in the earlier form of our big puja book, every deity has a pranam mantra also. But you can keep expanding. You can do a Dhyan mantra, then 5-item worship, pranam mantra, 1,000 named hymns, 100 named hymns, stava, kavacha. There's really unlimited. But we have to stop somewhere. So here at Kali Mandir, mostly we just offer a flower. Except on Amavasya, I often do pranam mantras for each one of them. I'll just go through some of the lists just for educational purposes, who we have on our shrine and the mantras we use. So for Lakshmi, there's different. So we have two Lakshmis on the shrine. We have a small Lakshmi Bengali form. There she rides upon an owl, and so there's different Lakshmis. This is considered a very auspicious. It brings wealth and like this prosperity. Very distinctly. Actually, usually, like some Lakshmis ride. Sometimes she sits on a lotus. Sometimes she's associated with elephants. Each one of them has a different meaning, but this one is with the owl. An owl that's her vahana. So an owl's vahana is a peculiar thing in Indian, actually in American Indian culture, as well as in in older Indian culture. The owl is a little bit inauspicious sign. When you see an owl, it's considered an omen for death. And it's interesting, but sometimes I remember I was at a home puja. Now I'll release it. Don't worry. I'm not crazy. I was at a home puja, and the lady of the house, Swami Swamiji, this is very, very bad. Every day we see an owl. Every day we hear an owl. Every night we hear an owl, and every day we see an owl. Right, and it turns out they have an owl. It's not like not necessarily. It's like you can there's an omen, and sometimes there's just an owl. They live there's an owl nest. Right, so if you live near an owl, you're gonna see an owl every day, right? But there's sometimes different. You're driving down all of a sudden, and you say, "Oh, look, cool owl," but something's like, "Oh, an owl." You can feel it when it has a little bit of this type of. Sometimes things, sometimes an owl is just an owl. To quote Freud, to change Freud's original message, or sometimes an owl is just an owl. But so sometimes owls are considered a little inauspicious, but sometimes they're formed with Lakshmi. She brings Lakshmi. Right, so you have to sometimes say, oh no, it's very auspicious. Lakshmi rather than owl. You have Lakshmi must be here. So we gave it a new interpretation. So we have, and we also worship Lakshmi in the form of we have a big shank conch that Usha got. And Jai Ma Gita. Where will we put you? because of the camera, we have a limited space. Can you stick right there? Is that okay? All right. So and so there we worship. We worship in this form of a big conch, right? And so there's the conch itself is a form of Lakshmi. And I think we talked when we talking about the worship of the conch. We have a bathing conch we worship, but with his independent of the bathing conch, we have a. I don't know if you look on the shrine. There's a big conch that Usha got in Kanyakumari. I think maybe you were there, or maybe it was at. I think you were there. You believe you got. And she said she had a wild-eyed Ayappa Swami devotee tried to steal it from her, and they're riled up, and in 40 days of walking and chanting, they get quite Ayappa. I mean, they're a little bit. They're a sight. I've seen them also in Chennai, and they enter a temple with drums, and it's like everybody stands out of the way. They're in a frenzied almost. But anyway, so I think no, it's mine, and I literally tried to take her from her. But and she wanted this type of shank, especially because in Dakshineshwar, there's only a few things on the shrine at Dakshineshwar. Since Thakur, I think it's in the list of the original, right? The big shank. There's a big conch that's there. We have it over. I think it's on the same side.
I think so.
Perhaps. And so we do. There's many mantras you can do. We do the famous. There's a Maha mantra for Lakshmi. That Shrim Shrim Kamale Kamalale Prasira Prasira Shrim Shrim Mahalakshmi Namaha. We use that mantra. And then there's Siddhi Buri Pradhe. There's different mantras we can use for Lakshmi to pray to her. So she's on the shrine. We have a Lalita deity. We have a Rajorjeshwari Lalita Tripurasundari. And of course we have a Shriyantra. So we worship the Shriyantra. But we have an individual form, a beautiful form. And interesting, when we got her, I think she was got to sell, right? But she's so beautiful, right? Sometimes we buy thinking it's for the gift shop, but they immediately jump on the shrine. So it's like the gift shop. The gift shop was just a vehicle for them to get from whatever shop they are in South India to on the shrine. Many of our deities were like that, not thinking they'd be worshipped in the shrine. We have enough deities, we thought we had enough deities. But Lakshmi wanted, Tripura Sundari wanted to be worshipped. So there's a mantras for her. Then, of course, we have our Lala Gopal, baby Krishna, that's been on Usha's shrine since before Ma, before Big Kali came. That baby Krishna was there, and he's very, very beautiful. Actually, Sri Ramakrishna, there's a verse I was quoting today in translation. I said, I have to look it up. It's on our old brochure. Sri Ramakrishna would say that in Kali Yuga, Lala Gopal, Kalo Jagat, something like that. It's just that, and you shouldn't look it up. It's just, trust me, that's the verse perfectly recited in perfect meter and pronunciation. It means that in Kali Yuga, Kali and Lala Gopal, baby Krishna, is awake. Right? Because just like there's times when we're asleep and when we're awake. At nighttime, ideally, we're supposed to sleep at nighttime, be awake at daytime. Some of it doesn't work that way, but it's supposed to work that way, right? So similarly in nature itself, in winter, a lot of nature sleeps, and in spring, Durga Puja is based upon that idea that the untimely awakening, you worship Devi when nature's gone to sleep. You have to wake her up again for the puja, right? Now, fall starts, you can feel the change. Now, certain animals are going into hibernation. The plants are pulling their energy, and the leaves are going to fall. That's fall. Idea. So things are going to. So nature itself goes to sleep, right? But also that's true every day, in the cycle. It's also true every year in the winter and summer cycle. Spring they wake up, fall they go to sleep. Winter they're fully asleep. Nature falls asleep. Some of nature, obviously. But it's also true in the yugas. And so in Kali Yuga, the deities go to sleep, right? And in Sattva Yuga, the deities are fully awake, right? Everything's awake. Consciousness is awake in Sattva Yuga, right? So they also have their cycles, right? And so in Kali Yuga, the deities also fall asleep. So this is the verse, right? And so Sri Ramakrishna is quoting the verse, and that he says that, I don't know if he's quoting the verse or it's his own, maybe it's just a translation, his own Bengali. You have to look. Swami Chaitananda told us this verse. That in Kali Yuga, Kali and Gopal are awake. These two deities are awake. Interesting, and of all of them, right? And you can see there's something, it doesn't take much to get a response, right? Another deity, like the other deities, not more than one deity, but you know what I mean by other. It's like sometimes there's complicated sadhanas that have to be done, right? There's also, one has to have a certain level of purity and spiritual advancement to get to feel the response, right? Perhaps this is, I'm simplifying perhaps, but with Kali immediately there's a response. It's like right now, we're in front of a living fire, a wake fire. It doesn't take much. You have to watch it. It's always living, and you throw something in, immediately there's a response. You throw ghee in, and you threw ghee in, immediately there's a response. But if it's a smoldering fire, and you throw ghee in, maybe some response, right? You have to tend it and blow and add some things and slowly try to get it to go. It's not possible to awaken a slumbering fire, but how easy it is to get a response from a wake fire. It's been in its full awake. So in Sri Ramakrishna, then in Kali Yuga, Kali and Gopal. And you can see, of course, I think for different reasons. Kali, because she's Mahashakti herself, and as they say, Kali Yuga is the dark age, and Ma Kali is the dark goddess, right? Different Kali, but she's a goddess that's not afraid of the dark, as we sometimes say. So I think she doesn't sleep when the world sleeps. And Gopal, there's no yam niyama for Gopal Puja, right? There's no rule, regulation, there's no standard, right? If you have the mood that God has become a small child, right, then what do? You can immediately bathe them, you can worship, you can chastise them, you can talk to them, you can carry them around, you can, all the things you can do. It's like, and he's bound. Sorry, no more space.
Okay.
Go to the other Kali temple. Jai Ma. Right, so if you have that's a beautiful thing with Krishna. If you have baby Krishna, wherever you do to him, he's a baby, right? So he's going to do it. If you wake him up, he's going to wake up. You put him to sleep, he's still going to cry. He can't even put him to sleep. Everybody had a baby like that. So it's a very unique bhava, the seva bhava of Krishna. We've talked quite a bit about it in the past. All these sweet things people do with Krishna. But anyways, we have baby Krishna. He's been on the shrine he's been on Usha's shrine probably 35 years before Kali Mandir. So he's still worshipped. And there's different mantras. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We do a famous mantra, Klim Krishnaya Govindaya Gopi Janabalabhaya Swaha. It's one of the mantras. That's the Moola mantras for Krishna. And there's different forms of that mantra according to lineage and things like that. But this is the mantra we use. Krishna Govinda Gopi Janavalabhaya. But we also have Radha Krishna. We have our main deity. We have a installed Radha Krishna, Radha Kanta, the name of the Radha Krishna in Dakshineshwar. So we have our same. And there's a mantra, Shrim Klim Radha Krishna Bhyam Namaha. So with these, when you have a dual like Radha and Krishna, Lakshmi Narayan. If you just worship Lakshmi, there's a Lakshmi mantra. If you worship Narayan, there's Narayan mantra. If you worship Lakshmi, there's a Lakshmi Narayana mantra. Radha Krishna is the Radha Krishna mantra, Sita Rama mantra, right? And obviously, usually, not in every case, but in almost every case, the female or the Shakti is mentioned first. It's not Krishna Rama, right? It's Radha. It's not Krishna Radha. It's Radha Krishna. It's not Rama Sita. It's Sita Rama, right? And so Sita Rama Bhyam, Radha Krishna Bhyam. Bhyam is that we mentioned before. It means more than two or more. Bhyo, Bhyaha, Bhyam. This ending. Then we see Sri Guru Bhyo Namaha, Sri Guru Ve Namaha. Sri Guru Ve, I bow to the Guru. Guru Bhyo, Guru Bhyam, I bow to the Gurus. I bow to our Gurus, like that, or the lineage of Gurus. So it's a pluralization. Om Shrim Klim Radha Krishna. And then these Bij mantras. That's another thing. So Radha and Krishna, not a class on Bij mantras, but they have each Radha has a Bij mantra and Krishna has a Bij mantra, right? Or Bij mantras, right? And so often in these mantras, they're in the same order. So Radha and Krishna. So first Radha mantra and then Krishna mantra. So in Radha mantra we use Shrim. Shrim is for Lakshmi, because Radha is there's a theological point. It's like we usually think, Lakshmi is Radha is a form of Lakshmi, right? Other people say no, Radha is an incarnation of Lakshmi, or Lakshmi is a reincarnation of Radha. That's a different level of discussion, right? But the same Shakti is there, Shrim, and so that mantra Shrim is there. And then for Krishna, it's often used this mantra Klim. It's called the Kama Bija. right? And so it's the same mantra you use for Cupid, for Kamadev, right? So that's a tricky thing, because there's a Kama mantra, if you want to fulfill your desires, the mantra is clean. I'm initiating you all in tantric things to fulfill your desires. Now everybody knows. Only take 10,000 repetitions every day for 20 years, standing on one foot, with your hands above. Not easy. It seems, easy, I'll just chant this mantra, or you could like get a job and get money and buy what you want. It's probably easier than doing it by the old world tapasya. But essentially that mantra klim for Kamadev, for Cupid. It's not Cupid, but Kamadev, the god of lust and desire, like this, right? The equivalent in the Hindu Cupid is not a little cherub. As far as I hear, he's very handsome. That's another point. Yeah, but that's why what's his other name? There's Kama. There's also Madan, right? Madan. Yeah, Madan. And sometimes there's the term Madan Mohan, right? It means that Krishna is so beautiful. Everyone is attracted by Kamadev, right? But Krishna is so beautiful, he attracts even Kamadev, right? So that's a sign. Why do we use his mantra? Because actually, Kama, desire, is a huge spectrum. At one spectrum, we consider, this Kama is like lust, gross material, or even at the lowest level, whatever the low. I'm not making. We can all put what we think on different on the moving scale of people's individual version of what low. But at the other level, it's pure love of God. So it's Radha's love for Krishna, Krishna's love for Radha. That's the real desire. That's why the same beach mantra is there. The real desire, the real Kama, is for God, or God for us. This desire, right? And so actually, that's what this month. The commentary is on. I'm not just talking. This is the commentary on this Kamadev mantra, beach mantra. Is that even when we think we want something in the material world, some fulfillment of some desire, right? It's okay. We can fulfill our desires. Up to a point, right? Even Krishna says in the Gita, "I am Kama." Right? I forget the word, but I am Kama, Kama hum or something like that. I forget the mantra. I am Kama. Right? That is not against dharma. Right? That's what he says. I am desire and fulfillment of desire. That's not against dharma. Right? Because that meaning I'm desire that won't take you away from God. Because fulfillment of our desires is natural. Right, and in the Hindu system, there's the 4 goals of life. We have Kama is one of them, right? Actually, all of them are Kama. You have 4 desire. You can desire many things. One of which is fulfillment of our desires, right? And one of them is to be free from desire. That's also desire, to be free from desire, right? So there's dharma, kama, artha, moksha, right? Again, kama, yeah. So in Joseph Campbell's Religions of the World, Houston Smith, right? Houston Smith, Religions of the World, or the Religions of Man, 2 versions of the book. He has he starts a section on Hinduism with the title "You Can Have What You Want." This is the offer of Hinduism. Actually, you can actually have what you want, right? So if you want the normal pleasures of life, physical pleasures and emotional pleasures, philosophical pleasures, aesthetic pleasures, that's also, you have to do the necessary work to get them. You have to earn them in a certain sense. But if you want a refined pleasure, you need refinement. If you want a gross pleasure, you need, it's like, you can have what you want like that. That's kama. But then the question he asks is, but what do you really want? Right? That's the question. You can have what you want, whatever, but what do you want? So when you get what you want, are you satisfied? Right? So if you get what you want and you're not satisfied, then you didn't get what you want. That's like the simple, right? So we find, I satisfied the desires, and I'm not satisfied. That means you didn't really satisfy your desire, right? That's the thing, right? So the question is, what do we really want? I'm sorry, I have a Spice Girls song in my head. I think it has a line. I'm sorry. I really don't want to have a Spice Girls song in my head. That's what I really, really, really want. I'll tell you whatever. Can't help it, sorry. 30 years of mantras, and this is what comes in my head at the Duni. We can't always have. So anyways, so what do we the question is, what do we really want, you know? And so that if you satisfy your desires and you're not satisfied, that means that wasn't your really desire. And so, but sometimes you don't know what you want until you've accepted the process of elimination. Either you see and it turns, oh, that's not what I wanted. I'm not happy from that. It didn't satisfy me. So you try something else. Or by satisfying, also you work your own system out. Not that you realize, oh, it's not what I want. By maturity, by experience, you learn what's more valuable and you know, as we mature, hopefully our desires mature along with it. So that's true of regular pleasures of life. Artha, it's also true of our economic desires and security. We need prosperity. We want the money and energy in order to accomplish our goals and to satisfy our desires and give us security. Right? But you see, you know, it's like we struggle so hard, we work so hard in order to make money to be secure. But when do we have enough money to be secure? When do we, you know, it's like once you get a really good paying, great. I hope all of you who are struggling with, I hope you get a really good paying job. Then will you be secure? You know, like it's like the problem is just like a thousand desire does not satisfy you. Money ultimately, or wealth and prosperity, doesn't fully satisfy. It satisfies something. If you're hungry and you eat something, you're satisfied, right? Oh, good, I'm not hungry anymore, right? So at that level, it satisfies, but the real hunger is not satisfied, right? Mavati. And if it is satisfied, it's temporary, right? That's another problem. Even if you are satisfied and you are secure, it's temporary, right? You can see you can be very secure financially, and from one day to another, you're insecure. You can be really healthy, and one day one accident or one doctor's appointment, and your whole world collapses. You know, everything changes. You know, it's amazing. You know, it's like. Or one bad report, right? And your whole world can change, you know. So that's the thing. Even if it's hard to satisfy our desires, if you do satisfy your desires, it's temporary. That's the problem. So what do we really want? So along with this, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, right? The idea is exactly what we really want is moksha. We really want God. Moksha means liberation and freedom. I'm not saying moksha is a particular philosophical school's version of what freedom, what desire is. But we want to be free from suffering. We want, like, if you want to be free from suffering, that's okay. But even exactly in the Bhagavatam, it says actually there's not 4 goals of life, right? Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. There's 5 goals of life, right? They give in Bhagavad Dharma, they give bhakti as a higher goal of life, right? Because we don't just want to be free; we want to be free to do something. Right, we want to be, you not just be free from suffering. You want pleasure, right? You know that you don't just want to be, you know, you don't want to be you don't just want to be free from insecurity. You want to be actually secure. You want that it gives value to our actual desire, and therefore Krishna's mantra, and this mantra is also used in Kali Puja. There's many Kali mantras with this kama bija in it. Right, actually, it's in the Devi Bhagavatam. It's very esoteric verses in Devi Bhagavatam that equate Krishna and Kali based upon commentary of this Bij mantra. Right, they're the same reality. Right, the same mantra split in 2 to serve 2 different purposes in the seemingly multifaceted universe. It's badly translated in Devi Bhagavatam. There's no good translation of those verses, but it's very interesting. Right. We can't understand except from that. That book gives a lot of details on this. But anyways, this Kama Bija is the clean mantra is what we really want is union with God. That's bhakti at the highest essence, bhakti. So that's his mantra. So Om Shrim Klim, Radha and Krishna, Bhyam Namaha. We do the same thing with Sita and Rama. It'd be also Shrim Klim, Sita Rama Bhyam Namaha. But sometimes you'll see, oh, it's actually Shrim Ram, Ramaya Namaha, right? Or Sita Ramaya Namaha. Or sometimes Radha, or her, like, so sometimes there's mantras where if you don't know a specific Bij mantra, Like there's some mantra that come down, like Shrim Kim Krishna Bam. That's a mantra from Shastras come down through lineage and through text, right? But let's say you have a deity of Prahlad. You have Narashinga, mantra for Narashinga, Shrim, Shraum, Lakshmi Narashinga Bhyam Namaha. Shraum is a mantra for Narashinga, that's his Bij mantra. Let's see. That's the sound of the ripping apart of Hiranyakashipu. It's a very deep mantra. But for Lakshmi Narashinga. But what about Prahlad? Right? So in that case, you can take the first syllable of the name, right, and then add Chandra Bindu. So Prahlad is Pram, Prahladaya Namaha. And then the name becomes navocative. It means not just Prahlada, but O Prahlada, right? Prahladaya Namaha, right? So for Lakshman, Om Lam Lakshmanaya Namaha. We use the first mantra. He doesn't have a special mantra. You can say, oh, he's Vishnu Tattva, so we use Kleem. Like there's mantras, Om Kleem. But often people would just Om Lam Lakshmanaya Namaha. Right, that's as far as adding Bij mantras. But also, Om is also the universal Bij mantra. So it is Om Lakshmanaya Namaha, like that. But anyways, here we have Mahatripura Sundari, Baby Krishna, Radha Krishna. We have several forms of Durga. There's different mantras for Durga. Dum Durgaye Shakti Bhairavye Swaha. Durge Rakshini Swaha. Hrim Durgaye Namaha. This mantra is used in Durga Puja. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. There's different mantras like that. And Hrim is also this. So the word mantra Hrim in this case, this is called, we've mentioned this before, this is the Hrileka mantra, which means a line or scratch on the heart, right? Also known as the Maya Bija. And it's considered the supreme Shakti mantra for the Devi. In the Devi Bhagavatam, Devi herself says, all my puja can be done with the mantra Hrim. And this mantra is considered equivalent to Omkara, to Pranava. Om is for Brahman, for Shakti, Hrim is a universal mantra. But Om Hrim Durgaye Namaha, that's common. Om Hrim Dum Durgaye Namaha. Why Dum? Du, right, in Durga, with Chandra Bindu. So you find, all of a sudden you look at, oh, I can see how these mantras are put together. They're the syllable of the name with the Bij mantra. Right? Then we have Kamakya. Kamakya is from Assam. We have a small container with holy things from Kamakya. Probably from one of your visits also. She's helped collect a lot of these holy things. So we mantra for Kamakya Devi Namaha. Annapurna, we have a deity of Annapurna. Om Hrim Annapurnaye Namaha. There is a mantra, Annapurni Sarapurne. People may know this mantra. This is from the Annapurna Stotram of Shankaracharya. We use it sometimes for for prasadam, for eating food. Especially in sannyasi ashrams, this is one of the mantras that's always chanted. Along with Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavir, this mantra. Annapurni Sarapurne Shankara Prana Valabe Jnana Vairagya Siddhartam Bhiksham Dehi Cha Parvati. Annapurni Sarapurne. Oh, it's a mantra for Parvati. Annapurni Sarapurne. You are full of food and you are full of everything. Annapurni Sarapurne. You are full. Annapurna Sarapurne. Shankara Panavalava. Sorry, I know how to say it, but if I take it apart, I forget. I don't have it. Shankara Pranavalave. Now this is interesting. This means it's Shankara, Lord Shiva. He's the life and soul of Lord Shiva. She's the life. But also Shankaracharya is writing this hymn. So he's also saying he's the life and soul of, oh Devi, you are the life and soul of Shankara. Shankaracharya can pull that off a lot because his name is Shankara. So he does that a lot of his hymns, or hymns attributed to him. Right? Shankara Pranavalave. You're the life and soul of Shankara. Jnana Vairagya Siddharatam, right? Bhiksham Dehi, I am asking alms. So Lord Shiva himself comes and asks alms of Mother Parvati, of Annapurna, right? And this scene of this is in Benares, the famous Annapurna temple, down the street from the famous Kashi Vishwanath temple, right? Bhiksha, and the form is Lord Shiva who comes as a mendicant, begging food from Parvati, right? Shiva's, but what is he actually begging? Jnana Vairagya Siddha, Artha, Siddhartam. So actually, Artha means wealth. What wealth is he asking for? We ask, oh Ma, please Please give me a good job. Please let our kids do well in their exams. And we joke, not be bit by snakes. We have the basic line is, let us do good in exams, not be bit by snakes. These are the two main things. These two important, but actually he's praying, the artha he's praying for is jnana, vairagya, and siddha. So jnana means knowledge, wisdom, vairagya means renunciation, detachment, and siddha means perfection, in this sense of perfection. Bhiksham dehi cha parvati. This is when we go, when a little boy gets his upana, he has to go begging. Bhavati bhiksham dehi, oh good woman, give me alms. They make out pretty good. It's way better than the Jewish equivalent bar mitzvah. They could. Arjun did pretty good. I remember during his bhiksham, going around bhiksham dehi. Oh mother, give me. So this is Shiva himself approaching the mother. In this case, his Shakti. Bhiksham dehi chapat. Beautiful. This is Annapurna. I think Shiva himself. In Benares, he only agreed to stay there because Mother Parvati fed him there. She became Annapurna and fed him there, and he sat down, and otherwise that's not his natural place. It says, he stayed there because of him.
You know something about Govinda Baba said about the bend because he started to walk away?
Yes, the Ganga. That's right. There's a place in the Ganga where it's unusual. The Ganga flows which direction? Always. From
West to southeast.
yes.
Northwest to southeast, right? But then all of a sudden, at Benares, it curves and comes back and then goes back, right? It says that because he was one, and she quickly prepared food, and so he turned around, came back, ate his food, and he continued, right? So that's so Annapurna is very important for Lord Shiva's presence, and Annapurna is we have a beautiful Annapurna Murti, small Annapurna Murti, that nowadays it's the restriction for getting into the Kashi Vishwanath temple is not so strong, right? It's a Hindus only type of thing, but now the standard what means to be Hindu is looser. At one time it was very strict, and you were denied entrance, so Usha was denied entrance many years ago with Purnadas Baul and his wife, was Manju Das, and she was not happy. crying that Shiva doesn't love him, like that. But Manju Das took her to the Annapurna temple, and they had darshan of Annapurna. Their mother is no restriction; everybody can come, right? She's feeding everybody, right? And then she also bought her a small Annapurna Murti to touch Ma's feet, and so that came to Kali Mandir. So we have this Annapurna. So every deity at Kali Mandir has some meaning, right? It's like. None of them were bought on, catalog looking for, we need this deity, we need that deity, it's not the way. Everyone has a story. Most of them come from a holy place, right? And that's very interesting. When you go to a tirtha, a holy place, the atmosphere is so wonderful. And when you go on a pilgrimage, right, when you make the journey, the quest, in the old days, the mythological hero's quest on a pilgrimage, then you bring something back. You bring some charm. You bring something back to your village, to bring prosperity, to bring happiness, bring blessings back to your home, right? That's a common thing. Minimally nowadays you have a laminated card of the deity. There's always usually attached to every temple is a place at least you can buy a laminated card of the deity, right? Because then you have, and we also sell a lot of laminated cards of our deity, right? It's also not everybody can afford that. Also, just a couple dollars or a couple rupees, Right. But then you bring some holy thing back, and that's literally what's built this place. All the pilgrimages of all the devotees, not only people's prayers here, but people bringing holy. It's built. Mm-hmm. Even Sri Ramakrishna, when he went, he built his Panchavati where he did his sadhana, right? So the 5 trees, auspicious trees are there. Then he planted tulsi all around it, right? And then he had dust from Vrindavan that he had collected, and he spread. It's like it's like it's built from all these holy things. That's part of when you go to a holy place. That's one of the reasons why holy places always have a gift shop, right? Because it's true. It's of course it's like the gift shop at the ride at Disneyland. The ride ends in the gift shop. It's always like it's cleverly placed, strategically placed. But there's a reason for it. You can see even Disneylands are now our new temples, our new tilta. Somebody comes, you make a difficult pilgrimage across the Shingha parking lot all the way to whatever to get that, yeah. And then you get something. You have to take something home, right? You buy something here, even on a mundane material level, we still do it, right? But in the ancient days, you on pilgrimages. Sometimes it took years, months, for sure, maybe years. Right, Swami Bhajanananda said, actually, the olden people didn't always come back. You went on pilgrimage, not knowing if you'd come back. Holy Mother did a pilgrimage, it took over a year when she left the village, right? Sri Ramakrishna's father, the pilgrimage, he walked from Kamapakor to Rameshwaram, right? From Bengal to the South India, right? Walking, right? How long? I mean, Swami Chaitanya told us the other day, he told this story. How long it took. It was 9 months pilgrimage like that, right? So nowadays it's difficult enough. You have to, you get on a train, whatever. You have to, it's a 22-hour wait at the Calcutta station for the train to come. It's still not easy, but it's easier, And so, but when you come back, you bring some charm back. I mean, we use this term. I'm not using the term to diminish it, but it is that you bring something that brings blessings, prosperity, health. Back into the home, back to the temple, right? So almost all of our deities at Kali Mandir are those type of things that have come. Somebody has brought us things that have holy items that have come from distinct places, like our Bhairava under the tree, right? I think you were also there for this one. You bought just outside the Bhairava temple in Benares, right? So when I tell people, this Bhairava comes from the Bhairava temple in Benares, right? It's like, that's very meaningful. It's not just a statue, we want the one that looks like the small, every deity like that here. Okay. Kamakya, Annapurna, Hanuman. We have, of course, we for many years we had a small metal Hanuman. It's still on her windowsill in her office. Right, I forget what she got in India, I think. But then a beautiful also came for sale, but jumped on our shrine. Right, we used to. His eyes are so beautiful, the most beautiful eyes of any, the small marble Hanuman that's on the shrine. So beautiful, right? So, and then there's different mantras for Hanuman. The one we use is Om Ham Hanumate Dudratmakaya Hum Pat Hanumate Namaha. Om Hum, where Hum, from the first syllable of Om, from Hanuman, Han, Ha, Chandrabindu, Hum. So his be Om Hum Hanumate, O Hanuman, Hanumate Rudratmakaya, whose essence, whose Atma, is the essence of Rudra. Shiva is considered, Hanuman is considered an incarnation of Rudra, the 11th incarnation of Rudra. Right? Rudra is Ekadasa Rudra or Gyara Rudra, the 11 forms of Rudra. And so Hanuman is the final or the 11th incarnation. And that's why often people chant like Chalisas 11 times. We do Ramnam on Ekadasi. Why this number 11 is attached to him? Because the number 11 is for Rudra, for Shiva, but Hanuman is an incarnation of Shiva, specifically the 11th incarnation of Shiva, right? As per Puranas, So he's the essence of Shiva, and so sometimes we think, why Hanuman? There's no Devi temple that doesn't have Hanuman, right? We also have, you see, our Hanuman 4 times the size of our Devi, right? It's not a Hanuman temple, right? But we've noticed that always there's Hanuman, right? Even Dakshineshwar, we figured Dakshineshwar is the only exception. There's no Hanuman at Dakshineshwar. There's a Hanuman at Dakshineshwar. It's secret, but probably there since before Dakshineshwar, right? It's from the ghat that goes from the main temple, the main ghat into the ocean, into the river. We're talking about bathe.
Or the chutney.
Yeah, chutney. The main ghat, right? If you're from the river, you're looking up at the temple. This side, there's gardens between the Shiva temples and the river. Nowadays it's not bare, but there used to be gardens in there, right? And the other side, there's still gardens, but the other side, from that side to the kind of the river, is closed. It's not public, right? So that's why most people don't. And so there is also, every temple has to have a Tulsi Munch, right? There were a Tulsi shrine, right? We have one in the front, right there. Dakshineshwar, they have a small Tulsi next to the Radha Krishna, but because they even have to put a fencing around it, because everybody wants to water Tulsi, and so you have 7,000 people watering Tulsi every day. So the Tulsi just dies; it just drowns, right? Even though you put friends like that, but that so that can't be the main tulsi that's worshipped, right? So in this part of the garden, there's a big steps and a huge thing with like 5 plants planted like a huge tulsi, right? And a little tiny little shrine thing that you go in. Pranab helped us and told us how to go back, and you can go back and find there's a small, beautiful, painted Hanuman thing, and you can see people. There's the priests are doing puja. There's puja done to him every day, but it's not public that the pilgrims. If you know where to look now, if you go where the Shiva temples are, you look up and you can probably see. There is probably the Hanuman temple, right? But it's very cool knowing a secret place at Dakshineshwar. That's one of the great temples. Yes, there's the other Nahabat. That's right. Yeah, there's 2 music towers.
Is it towards M's, what was called M's house?
Yeah, on that side, on that edge. Yeah, but close to where the main steps to the river are. Just like if you're going up the steps from if you were to land back in the day when you can land at the main steps, you don't do that anymore where people bathe. If you're coming up, just right here above the fence there, it's right there.
You see from the boat, you can see.
You can actually see it.
It's close to the bridge.
Yeah, but you don't know what you're seeing. That's the
Yes.
thing, right? But is Hanuman there? So the question is, why is Hanuman there? You can see Hanuman at a Ram temple. That makes sense. Hanuman's the eternal servant of Ram, right? Of course. And what's this mantra say? Over my door it says this, right? Because he's that no one, you protect the Ram's kingdom, and no one can enter without your permission. Roughly that, I think, right? Is that what it says? Roughly, right? So that makes sense. He's the gatekeeper to Ram's kingdom, but he's also the gatekeeper of Devi's kingdom, right? So that's a strange thing. So one simple answer: he's Shiva, right? Right. So he's Shiva. So of course, wherever Ma is, it's going to be Shiva. And even if he took a form to serve Lord Ram, right? If there's a Kali temple, he's going to stay there also. That's a simple answer, right? I told this to one devotee. He immediately gave that answer, right? I said, "Why is it he without missing a ajadat, without missing a beat?" He said, "He's Mahadev. Of course, he's going to a Devi temple, right?" But there's another very nice story. We're supposed to talk about Ramakrishna Puja today. I guess I don't think we're. Anyways, we're talking about Hanuman today. Very nice story. He in the. I forget, they sometimes call it the Shakta Ramayana, right? There's 300 or more Ramayanas. There's not one Ramayana. There's over 300 Ramayanas, right? It's a very good article you can probably even find online by an anthropologist called the 300 Ramayanas, right? You can. It's a very interesting article. But anyways, with the sign, I signed it in Berkeley 30 years ago, if I remember it. But in one of these Ramayanas, it's a Shakta from the Shakta perspective, and there, Ravana. No, I made a mistake. I'm jumping ahead. There's too many Hanuman is a lot. I have a 3.5 hour talk on Hanuman you can find on my podcast where I take a lot of these stories about Hanuman. Yeah, it's very. I think class may have been given at your apartment. Remember when the temple was closed during construction? I think I gave a talk on Hanuman at your place.
That's
was
right,
at your
that's
place. Yeah, it's an interesting because tons of research on all these different stories. Most people have never know. We only know the main story from Tulsidas or Valmiki. We know the main lineage story. But anyway, there's another story where you heard about Ahiravana. Ahiravana is Ravana's. Ravana is a very great, whatever you think of him, whatever he's done, he may have done some mistake like that, but he's actually a great soul. We should never, careful not to criticize Ravana. Ravana had a lot of great, even Ram, it says, when he saw him, like, whoa. First time he saw Ravana on the battlefield, even Ram was impressed, right? He was not a normal person, a great devotee. He had a unique lila to do. But he had a cousin brother called Ahiravana. And Ahiravana was a demon, a pure demon. See, Ravana is actually, he's half Brahmin, half demon, right? That's why he's like, so part of his family are Brahmins, other part of the family are pure demons, are Rakshasas, right? Ahiravana is in that category. This is that part of the family, right? And so in the battle, he was losing. I mean, Ram and his army did pretty good, right? So using black magic, he trapped Ram and Lakshman, and took him into hell, Ahiravana, this into the hellish realm. Right, but who is he worshiping? In the Chandi it says, both gods and demons touch your feet, O Devi. right? So we're devotees of Kali. The gods are devotees. The demons are also devotees of Kali, right? Dacoits are devotees of Kali. Actors, even worse than dacoits, actors are devotees of Kali. And, like these are like artists. You've heard of the artists. These very unsavory characters, right? So even the demons are so there. What he was going to do, he had bound him with magic ropes, right? And created, like we think of like a pentagram. He created a yantra, a pentagram-based yantra, with 5 candles, 5 deepams to a yantra to catch. One of the things yantras do, they control and catch energies. So they caught Ram and Lakshman. And in front of Kali, he was going to cut off, sacrifice Ram and Lakshman. Not just kill them. These are you have such powerful kings. How much power if he sacrifices them to Kali, he can get so much siddhi, so much power. In the underworld, he could be the king of demons. Like Ravana is the king of men. I can become demon. He was like this, right? So in the middle of all this, Ram and Lakshman are trapped. Hanuman he's so intelligent and so tuned. He immediately, Ram and Lakshman are in trouble, and he followed him into the hellish realm where he was being hidden, and seeing him, he's from a distance, and he saw the scene, right? A statue of Ma Kali, right? Ram and Lakshman trapped by a yantra with 5 lamps, right? And
But is this also at the door he fights his son, Hanuman?
That's another good story. This is not a talk on Hanuman ultimately, but they're actually, to get there, Hanuman has to fight his own son. Hanuman's son? Hanuman's a brahmachari. Anyways, it's very interesting story.
Thought he was an asshole.
Yeah, you'd think he was, but it's a very interesting story. Available on podcast at her apartment. 3.5 hours. Call on the glories of Hanuman or something. But anyways, and Hanuman, one of his qualities, he is extremely smart, right? And the name there's a extreme, very high intellect. Balabuddhi. He knows exactly what to do, and also he can become really small, really big, right? So become really small, and he can fly. Did I mention he can fly? Okay, Hanuman has a lot of great qualities. He's Shiva. He can do whatever he wants, right? So he becomes really small, and he figured, I know what to do. Even Ram and Lakshman, the story said, didn't know what to do. They were trapped, right? And this is going to be They're going to be killed. The power is going to go to Ahiravana. Ravana is going to reign supreme. Sita's not going to be rescued. It's a bad situation, right? But Hanuman can fix any situation. That's why in really big needs, you can create the Hanuman. He becomes really small, and he flies, and he whispers into Ram's ear what to do. This is it's like, in every good show, it's like that. There's always here's the plan, There's always, you have to whisper the plan, otherwise it doesn't count. Yeah, right. And so he whispers the plan. And so then Ahiravana, now bow your heads, I'm going to chop, right? He says, and Ram says, I grew up as a prince, right? And princes, I've never bowed my head. Even kings, even when in front of their gurus, they don't bow like we normally do. Pranams Maharaj, because they're not accustomed to bowing, right? That he says, I've never bowed, neither me or my brother have never bowed our heads. Right, and it's like, so I don't know how to. That was the thing. So Ahiravana, with all his power, maybe he can be easily fooled, perhaps, right? He says, "You show me." Right. So how exactly? I'll do it if you want me to do it. I'll do it. It's not that I won't do it, but I don't know how. Right. So Ahiravana bows his head. Right. But just then, because Hanuman knew the spell, this tantric spell with the 5 lamps. The way to break it is that each lamp had to be extinguished simultaneously. Right? One person can't do it simultaneously. You do this or blow it like this. So he immediately he manifested 5 heads, Panchmukh Hanuman, right? And but because he is himself a divine animal, right? As a monkey, his other heads are divine animals. Hayagriva, the horse incarnation, Narashinga, the man lion incarnation, Varaha, the boar incarnation, Garuda, the divine eagle, and his own. No, this is only 5 in this story, right? And so he manifests the 5 head, blows the candles. That all of a sudden, Ram and Lakshman are freed, and Ahiravana is bowing his head to show how to bow his head, and the sword is right there. So Ram grabs the sword and chops Ahiravana's head, and thus offering the final sacrifice to the goddess Kali is Ahiravana. Right? Even better than a king is a demon's head. It's very powerful. If you can get a good demon, I'll tell you how to get real power in this world. I'm telling you. I'll send you a list of possible candidates. It's a long list, you know. So, but then Kali, it says, saw what? Because she's there accepting the offer. Whatever you approach her, she responds. That's the unique thing about Kali. Why is it that a demon can worship Kali and get power? Right? Anybody can worship Kali. And whatever you feed her, that you get. I think many years ago you made this point, Gita, that whatever you feed her, you get. If you feed her love, she gives love. If you feed her anger, you get anger. You feed her violence, you get violence. Whatever you feed that's what she's living, right? And so she was there to accept the offering when she sees what just happened and who orchestrated this. It was an impossible situation, right? He can get out of every impossible. He always gives perfect advice and does the perfect thing. In all the stories, Swami Omananda tells us a lot. It says Hanuman, you see that he has perfect intelligence in every situation. And so she gives him a boon, right? And the boon is that just like you are eternally a servant of Ram and you guard his kingdom, you will also guard my temples, right? So that you are also a guardian of a Devi temple. Right, so of course we have a small, but all of a sudden we also end up with a giant Hanuman, you know. So just a simple thing, why do we worship Hanuman at Kali Mandir or in our? Very, very interesting. We went to a temple in the jungle between Rishikesh and Dehradun, called with Swami Bodhichidananda Ji Maharaj, called Manasika Devi, not Manasa Devi, or not Manasa Devi, Manas Devi. It's not like the god, the snake goddess, but it's a jungle deity. And we went there, and the Mahant, the Pujari, did not like us. Right? He wasn't pleased. I think maybe he had some struggle with Swami Bodhichidananda, but he didn't. I don't think he liked people like Westerners just showing up and he wasn't pleased with us. Right? He wasn't being overly. I mean, we did our prayers, but we also know they have a huge. The Manasa Devi is like a little thing, but a huge Hanuman. Hanuman is like 4 or 5 times as big as our Hanuman, right? And so he came. So he was not, you know. But there's a secret that we had our business card, a little picture of our Ma. Oh Maharaji, this is our temple. We're a temple in California, Dakshineshwar. You know, so look, and you can see him like. I remember, very interesting. He was getting upset, not because now he had to be nice to us, and he actually didn't like us, but he had to be nice to us because we're pujaris at a Kali temple in America, right? He had to, you know. So he told his attendant make chai. So now he had to make chai. So he sits down, and the tea gets made, and so we're like, what do you do? And then it was limited Hindi, and he didn't speak any English, but I think somebody there, maybe Swamiji was there translating. I forget exactly who was translating, but. So what do you do when you ask a senior person? You have to know how to ask questions to senior sadhus because even somebody who doesn't like you, he has much knowledge. You can get knowledge, and everybody likes to talk shop. Right? People who have knowledge, they know, but how do you get esoteric knowledge from somebody? So by knowing how to ask the question, you pull knowledge out of them. So first it was, you're a lifelong pujari and sadhu at the Devi temple. We're just beginning, we need your blessing. So that creates a proper thing like that. And so he said something or something. I forget the point. But then I asked the question, Maharaj, why is Hanuman worshipped at a Devi temple? This is not a Ram temple. There's no Ram deity here. Why Hanuman? Right? And so he didn't give this answer. This is the answer. I asked many people this question. Right? That was the theme. One of my questions I'd asked at Devi temples. But he gave a different answer. This is like these are lifelong tantric sadhakas. You get new things from them, right? And he says, actually, there's Shiva. There's always Bhairava, the protective deity, and Hanuman at a Devi temple. But when a Devi upasak, a Devi worships, right? They're always there. So you don't see what happens. He says you don't know, but this is what happens. I'm not telling you what happens, right? When you sit for meditation and begin to worship, to do Devi Puja or meditate on the Divine Mother, Goddess Mantra, right? He says Dakinis and Yoginis come with pitchers of Amrita and they bathe you. And you can feel they purify you. We're not pure enough to worship the Devi. They come knowing you're about to worship the Devi. They come to purify you. So they're purifying you. Then Hanuman comes, and he comes from behind you, right? And he puts around you a sacred thread of 9 strings of 9 colors, something like that. Right? Remember this, right? Something like this. He goes, and he said, no, not 1 string, not 2 string. He's very this is like secret knowledge. It was 9 strings, of different colors like that. So he puts a sacred string on you, and then Bhairava circles you with his weapons to protect you while you're chanting. He says, you don't see this, but this is what's happening. So Hanuman is here. That's very interesting. These type of things, if you ask these people, and maybe that's not in any scripture, and maybe no other sadhu thinks that, right? But this is his experience, right? And you can collect new information like this, these secret things, even from somebody who doesn't like you, and doesn't want to talk to you, and resents talking to you, right? But the thing is, he cannot. Just like you can control baby Krishna by putting him to sleep and go to sleep, you can control sadhus by etiquette. If you ask properly, they cannot not answer. Like he says in the scriptures, if somebody asks any question properly, sincerely from a sadhu, the sadhu is bound to answer. And if you ask any question improperly, the sadhu is required to walk away and ignore you. Right, so if you ask a sadhu and you don't get a good answer, you don't answer you. It's probably because either he's wrong or you asked incorrectly, or it's not a sincere question. But if it's a sincere question, asked properly, they're bound. They cannot not answer. It's their duty, right? Even if they don't want to. Interesting. Hanuman. What time is it now?
6:10.
Okay, that's not so bad. So we worship Hanuman. Here it says, Atiganda Pushpe Om Hrim Pushtakaya Namaha. This is a mantra, this is a auxiliary mantra to the Chandi. When you do Chandipat, when you chant the Chandi, the book itself is worshipped. Pushtaka means book. We worship the book, right? But the mantra Hrim is for Devi. So this book is Devi, right? And actually, we respect all scriptures. We don't put them on the ground. We don't touch them with our feet. We don't leave them open outside. There's ways to respect any book. All books should be respected because they're Saraswati. I remember when Haradanji, we had in the back. We remember back in the days before the telephone told you where to drive. We had the Thomas Guide, right? Thomas Guide was our everybody had it in the back on the floor in the back seat. You had a Thomas Guide. Everybody had it, right? We look it up and mapped and from L3 to we. we did all that. So we had it, and he said, no, don't put in. He didn't like it was on the floor, right? So no, sorry. But then there was also some like some some junk mail like advertisements on the floor of the back, and you're going like that. He says also, no, these are just junk mail, right? It's not like scripture or something like that. No, but it's Saraswati. All writing is Saraswati. You have to treat properly, even throw away properly, but don't step on it. The proper treatment of junk mail. The respectful treatment of junk mail is to throw it away, not to step on it, right? Everything has its proper use, right? Right. But the Chandi is not just respected; it's worshipped. There's 2 books that are worshipped. Of course, the Guru Granth Sahib. This is the classic. The Sikhs are worshipping elaborately at the cover of your head, and it's being fanned all day, and it's like they do worship of the book, right? But we respect book. But the Bhagavatam is you do puja before reading. It can be worshipped and kept on the shrine and worship, and the Chandi. And in Dakshineshwar also, if you ever go to Dakshin, if you ever in the shrine, there's it's a very old style. It's like they don't make, it's very antique, probably from Thakur's time. It's like a angelic type of being holding these like a tripod stamp, like that. And the stand is the Chandi wrapped in red cloth, and it's holding there. So that's the Chandi has been worshipped since Thakur's time. Is it listed in the description?
I think so.
Even M mentions it in the description in the Katamrita, right? Right. So we also have a small. We got one we wanted one, very beautiful one, small from the Gita Press, I think, version we have that had the original. That we wanted the Devanagari to have in the original language, and it's also wrapped in red cloth, and it's also on the shrine. If you look now at the shrine, you'll see something wrapped in red underneath. It's Holy Mother's picture. Yeah. It used to be at Durga's feet. Now it's just in front of Holy Mother's feet. Where can we put you? You got another.
Okay.
No. We have to. If you go around this way, you can. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, watch out for the camera not to hit. Daima. Right, so the Chandi is worshipped, right? And there's another mantra, like the mantra for worshipping God is Chandi, Namas Chandikaya. We often do that, but the mantra properly is Om Hrim Pushtagaya, and we worship this book, right? And you can do full puja to the Chandi. It's considered her direct form. Even there's that Saptasloki Chandi. 7 verses from the Chandi itself considered the full Chandi and considered the full Durga. Saptasloka Durga Saptasloki. No. Yeah, Durga Saptasloki, right? That means that just these 7 verses are considered fully Devi. Right? You can worship just these verses. By reciting the whole Chandi. By reciting it is full worship of full puja of Devi also. So of course you shouldn't just worship the Chandi, you should read the Chandi, not just worship the Chandi. But even if you just worship the Chandi, what is that story Sri Ramakrishna told of somebody who was reading I'm mistaking stories. There was a blind man with the Gita crying, right? And somebody says, "Why are you?" He's like, "No, I see Krishna." Right? He couldn't read anything, but holding the book, he literally Krishna and Arjuna is in front of him, right? So the book itself is the divine itself. Pushtagaya Namaha. We have, there's only a small list here on our shrine. We also have from South India, Mukambika. Did you go to Mukambika? So you also went with Susha on this pilgrimage, Susha. And also same thing, you want something from Mukambika. You know, she's such a, oh my goodness, what a, we were there for Shivaratri. Very wonderful, right? Very powerful, wonderful. And the Mukambika temple is said to be built by Shankaracharya, but actually the temple was built by Shankaracharya, so the story goes. The place was worshipped by a very ancient rishi, I'm forgetting. And it's a stone it's like a 2-colored stone, and it's said to be Shiva and Shakti. And Shakti is slightly bigger, the Shakti side, the left side, right? But that stone is said to be the bindu of the cosmic Sri Yantra, right? The Yantra that has spread this. When we think of the Sri Yantra that has spread the world, that's the bindu as per tradition. And her form is it's a beautiful form, and she has beautiful alanka, beautiful jewels, gems. And most famous is this, maybe one of the most precious gems in the world almost. It's a huge sapphire. If you look, our little Mukambika has a little green stone to represent, that's her most, but it's only, there's an evening arati, like a Sunday arati after dark, the first arati after dark at Mukambika. That's the only time when that gem is out. And when you see it, literally, you get blinded by it. By this gem she has, you know, it's like when they do the thing, you just like what, it's really overwhelming. That's the only thing. Then it's not all the time on her, probably for safety purposes also, right? And they're also interesting. She's worshipped as Lakshmi, Saraswati, and Mahakali. 3 times a day. In the morning she's worshipped as Saraswati, in the afternoon as Lakshmi, in the evening as Kali. Very interesting, right? It's a really incredible temple, really incredible. Many ways we have her form. We worship her especially because we have no Saraswati image on the shrine. So we think of her as specifically, and actually she's connected. Although she's all 3, she's primarily worshipped as Saraswati, right? So she's Saraswati Devi. They do the first writing there. Doing their first writing, the first letter. That'll be a very auspicious place for that.
And then they do the procession.
Yeah, and they take the image out, because the big image is there, and then there's 2 smaller images that are processional deities. I forget, one's Kali, the other one they worship as both Lakshmi and Saraswati, something like that. And they go many times. First time they get carried around the temple. Everybody runs with a priest. Then they get put on a palanquin, they can run a temple. Then they get put on a boat, and they pull around a temple. Then they get pulled on a chariot, and pull around the temple. It's very interesting. There's all these. You have to run after it, you know.
And then it was Shivaratri, so it's a rare time where they take her out of the temple grounds and go through the town.
Yeah, very interesting.
Stop at every shop, and every shop have their, they have kolum and
it's wonderful, Mukambika. But you see, you went there. We had to bring something back. right? You can't just go and bring back memories. Now I just click, 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 click. You know, you can see, but you want something, and something that, you know, can just be touched. I think actually maybe if I'm remembering the story, you were there, but I think if I remember the story, that one of the priests chose, Usha wanted something, the priest said, oh, buy this one, and then maybe touch Ma's feet or something like that, you know. So that's also here, Mukambika, the Bhava Mukambika, who also is on our shrine. We have Shankaracharya on our shrine. We have Sadbhuj, Mahaprabhu, the six-armed form of Chaitanya as Krishna, as an incarnation of Krishna, Rama, and Chaitanya himself. This form was shown to, it's a very esoteric form. It was shown, as per Shastra, we know 3 times that he showed this form. One was to Samabodha Bhattacharya, I think. He was a Pandit a Vedantic scholar in Benares who said that Chaitanya needed to know Brahma Sutra. He's a sannyasi who didn't know Brahma Sutra. What type of sannyasi doesn't know Brahma Sutra? This is the main text for sannyasis. I'm a sannyasi who doesn't know Brahma Sutra, so but unlike him, he actually knows Brahma Sutra, right? And so he said, okay, you teach me Brahma Sutra. He said, well, it's not proper. I'm a householder, a sannyasi. It's okay, you know, we accept. And so he gave lessons, and for 4 or 5 days, he gave lectures on Brahma Sutra. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't say anything. Right, and then when he asked, he says, well, "You're sitting there. Didn't you understand?" He says, "Well, the verses I understood perfectly, but your commentaries, I don't understand one word of it. You're like, the verses are obvious." And he got so, you know, the ego of a pundit, you know, it's like a scholar, you know, right? He got so angry. He says, "Who do you think you are to say such a thing?" And then, pow. And 2-armed, he had the bow and the arrow of Ram. He had Krishna's flute, and the Danda Kamandalu of Chaitanya. That's what. Oh, yeah. It was very interesting. So there's many forms like that where he showed this form. So we also have Gaur Nitai. We have different Chaitanya. Even in Dakshineshwar, now not, but as far as when we first started going to Dakshineshwar, in the inner shrine there was always a painting of Gaur Nitai or Chaitanya hanging, right? In Thakur there are many, but I think since they redone the tile work inside, I don't think there's a picture hanging anymore. There was always a picture of Chaitanya in the inner shrine at Dakshineshwar, right? We've always had here in the picture Radha Krishna. We have Lord Jagannath, right? Every statue has a story. Usha wanted a Jagannath, so Swami Chaitananda went to Puri. He was in Orissa. He went to Jagannath Puri. But she only wanted Jagannath, not Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra. But nobody would give just Jagannath because then you break a set, right? Nobody's going to sell part of, you know, volume 3 of a 5-volume. You know, it's like you sell the full set, right? And finally, he found somebody who while he was negotiating with one of the sellers, one of the artisans came. No, sell this one. I'll replace. I'll make a new one. He was the carver was there, so that's that first. And then years later, so Usha had that one since before Kali Mandir also. But then later, little Jagannath Baladev, all 3 of them are still there. It did come. But still that deity we've had, I don't know, 30 years or something, maybe longer. Swami Chaitanya himself brought it from Puri. Also, you go to Puri, you bring something from Puri. The best thing you can bring from Puri is Jagannath. Yeah. The second best thing you bring from Puri, Jagannath Prasad. Yes. Especially they offer, Jagannath eats a lot. He eats 64 times a day, right? He has a good diet but one of the things they do is a special Mahaprasad, special food. It's cooked rice that's then dried and then sold, right? And so Sri Ramakrishna believed that this rice was directly Brahman. Right, he said, while God is everywhere, that's not what he means. Some things are directly God. One of which was the prasad, this type of rice, prasad of Jagannath. Another was the water of the Ganga, Brahmavari, Gangavari, something like that, right? That's right? Gangavari, something like that. He said that the water of the Ganga is liquid Brahman. It's not different from Brahman. Then the dust of Vrindavan, right? And then when he went to Benares, he added the atmosphere of Benares, the air of Benares, something like that. Air of the atmosphere of Benares is none different from Brahman. So these 4 things are directly Brahman. So anyway, so if you and I'll give you a secret. They're called Bhakti Tablets. If you eat a grain of this rice, it will give devotion. Thakur said, this rice grains from Jagannath, it gives devotion. Yes. The Thakur himself every day would take some of these grains. He had a container. And he tried to he'd give it to his close devotees so they could get devotion. Swami Chaitanya tells the story a lot. And then he gave it to the young Vivekananda, who was like, oh, this is ridiculous. Devotion is the thing with the heart. It's nothing to do with this. Is completely unscientific. This is super, not just scientific. It's superstitious. It's stupid superstitious. I mean, it can be like this gives, eat this. This will make you give an A in a class. Right? It's not the way it works, right? And then Swami Chaitanya tells Swami Thakur reasoned with him, right? Do you agree that that certain types of food, if you eat it, will give you constipation? That's true. Obviously, certain food gives constipation. Do you believe that certain types of food, if you eat it, has a laxative effect? Because yes, this food gives bhakti. What's the problem? It's not that difficult to understand. It's like that. Logical, right? Certain food has an effect. This food has that effect, a spiritual effect. But Swamiji didn't believe it. So Swami Chaitanya says that Sri Ramakrishna would buy sandesh from a shop near Dakshineshwar where Swamiji would like this food, like this sweet, and he'd put these grains inside the sandesh. Because like a laxative, whether you know it or not, if you eat it, it will have an effect. You don't need to believe it or know about it, right? So he'd put so that the young Naren would get some bhakti also. So this is Jagannath, and then he told M, get Jagannath Prasad when he'd run out. What do I do? So, but he's not going to go to, So M would go to Hara Station or Shelda Station, the older station, maybe Shelda Station. The Shelda Station, was called? I haven't been there in years. The second train station, Shelda Station. I think in Shelda Station, or maybe Hara Station, where the trains would come from, the pilgrims would come back from, and he'd go. And he's a dignified person, a school teacher, Western educated, English speaking, right? Begging the pilgrims, do you have any? Can you spare some of the Mahaprasadam, right? Collecting, so he'd bring it back to Sri Ramakrishna. Right. So we also have some of this. I forget to take, therefore my bhakti is not so. My spiritual digestion is not very clean right now. Bhakti. What time is it now?
6:25.
Who else do we have on our shrine? Oh, that's right. We have Kamadi. We have first we wanted the Usha bought a beautiful. We wanted a cow. We don't have a cow, right? We should have a cow. Really, without a cow, you're not a human being. You have to actually. There's a mantra that says that land that doesn't have brahmanas, doesn't have flowing water, and doesn't have cows, that's an inauspicious land, or the chanting of the Vedas. These four things have to be in order to make a land auspicious. It has no cow prints, no cow urine, no cow dung. It is not a auspicious place. So we have everything, right? But we have no cow, right? So when Haranaya from Rajasthan, New York, the Guruji from the Rajarajasari Pitam, he says actually during special pujas they have to do cow puja first before Sri Chakra Puja. But they also don't have a cow. But they have a big brass image of a cow that they do abhishek. They do the full puja. It's like we worship in the deity form. You can even worship the cow in the deity form, right? So thinking of that, we wanted a cow, right? We have a small cow by Krishna, but that's that's part of the Krishna shrine, right? We wanted a proper cow. We should find a beautiful cow, wall in brass, beautifully decorated. That's nursing a calf. Right, it's a perfect symbol of the Divine Mother and like this, right? Kamadenu, yeah. But then the Kamadenu, the original cow. Shabari? No, Subari. The original divine cow. Subari. It's a divine from the heavenly worlds, right? Kamadenu is her manifestation, incarnation, right? So later, when one of those comes, she has wings. She's a divine, and we also have like that. But also, people could accuse us of worshiping a golden calf by such things, right? Isn't it? We're worshiping a golden calf. We should worship a golden calf. Actually, I mean, this is a little bit controversial, but not controversial. There's some evidence, right? You could see actually even that when in the story, in the biblical story, when they left into the desert and to follow Moses in his revelation, and Moses went up to the mountain to talk to God, and didn't come back. And so the people got nervous. They left everything. It wasn't great what they had, but at least they had security, and they got nervous. And so it says, oh, then they melted down their gold, which means their most precious thing, and they made an image of a calf, right, a cow, right, and they worship. And then Moses, he was very upset. You know, the story's told from the Moses perspective, not from the Devi Upasak perspective, right, right. But this is the symbol of the mother goddess, right. And there's evidence also. There's a book called an old book, not a very exciting read, called the Hebrew Goddess. Nowadays there's probably better books written in these lines, but the Hebrew Goddess is there's an old book that talks about the connection that that they had goddess forms. They didn't win, right? And Jaima, you want to come over? You can come sit. Ambikanan, I think, is taking care of parking. Come over here. Right, so maybe this is a view that what they did, they made their mother goddess, right? That they made an image of the mother goddess, right? But the thing is, the new religion wasn't about the mother goddess, so there was at least in the way the story is told, right? But to me, that's very interesting. The people, like I even one time we wrote an article for a magazine on Puja, right? And we talked about the deity forms. That the deity forms aren't just regular forms and made up things. They're not golden calves made up by man's imagination. Right. When we later published this in a book, we've taken out that sentence because now I have a different view, because I don't think golden calves are made up by human imagination. They're ancient world. This is the deity people would worship. You know, the golden calf was the cow is a worshipable thing in many traditions, the Hindu tradition especially, but in many traditions, right? Right. It's just not the right God, but it's an appropriate God. It's not the right God, right? So it's not made up. Usually say, oh, they just made up an image, you know, because now it seems so preposterous to have to make an image of, like, it seems like if they invented a god, right, and then it's so ridiculous they invented a cow and they began to worship. What could be more foolish and stupid than that, right? That can't be accidental that they worship the cow. A cow is a symbol that many cultures worship. So even now we're worshiping a golden calf. So we've been thinking, I wonder if there's a date where that's believed to have happened. We should do golden calf puja in honor of our ancient ancestors who worship the golden calf, you know. Right? We worship both sides of the. We see both. We appreciate both sides of the divine, both views of the divine. Right. So we have a golden calf. Who else do we have on our shrine? Not everybody. That's pretty good.
There's a question.
Tell me.
Just that when Moses came down with the tablets,
Yes.
and he was worshiping that the letters flew off the tablets and he handed them back up.
Yes. So some people say he broke them.
Yeah.
Right. These are esoteric oral tradition, right? And he went back, but this time he came down with golden tablets. The second time he came down was stone tablets, right? And according to Mel Brooks, he came down with 3 tablets. Do you remember this scene ever? Anybody remember this? I bring you the 15, then he drops one and says 10 commandments. And then Father Guido Sarducci, if you remember him, a famous comedic priest from he claimed to know what the other 5. He said the other 5 were suggestions, like a good advice, like don't wait after swimming, wait half hour before eating, or something after eating, wait, you know. But like all Mel Brooks movies, the joke goes too long, but still it's a funny thing. But I think it's very interesting that the golden calf. We actually have a golden calf, and we had it. And you can worship calves. You can worship horses. When we had a horse here, you can do horse puja. You see outside our gate. Right. This is Haran like Guruji from Rajashri Pujam. He also told us, no, you put on both sides of your gate. We have, on our gate we have Lakshmi and Saraswati, right? But if you go further out, right, on the poles, there's a horse and an elephant. Right. These actually, they look just like a beautiful tile of a horse and tile of an elephant. But he says these are representative of ancient protective goddesses, right? Mentioned in the Brahmana Purana, the Devi, like that, and they're nothing inauspicious can enter, right? They're very protective. He says when we had, unfortunately, Bela is no longer across the street, our wonderful emotional horse across the street, but just having that horse, he says actually she's looking at everything, that it's very fine, no, it could be very auspicious. And so we'd go and on special days and before special pujas, we'd go and feed her a little bit and give her some affection. Bella, what's your blessings? We're going back inside. So this is the so we've listed as Mandir Devata Puja. After worshipping all the after the Panch Devatas, Guru, Ganesha, Shiva, Surya, Narayan, Durga, and the Navadurgas and Dashmahavidyas and all the things we mentioned last time, right? Also, we worship who's on the shrine. This is also this is who's on our shrine, but also this is where we worship our Kula Devata, our family deity. Of course, in the West, who's our family deity? If you're a Christian family, Jesus is your family deity. Right, if you're of a Mexican family, like we're in a Mexican, Our Lady of Guadalupe is our family deity. It's like there's some deity that's traditionally been worshipped that you have a connection to, right? Or your Ishta Devata, your personal deity, maybe different than who the pujas to, right? Or your Grama Devata. We don't have that idea so much. You have the village deity, household deity, the established deity. There's all these different. We can be doing Satyanarayana Puja. But the established deity is Kali, so we have to worship Kali as part of Satyanarayana Puja because there's a Kali temple. Although the puja is Satyanarayana Puja, right? Like that. Or here we worship Sri Ramakrishna Holy Mother Vivekananda. They have established here, right? Even no matter what the puja is, especially here. But even I go to somebody else's house to do puja, and maybe they're not even Ramakrishna devotees. They don't have a picture of Ramakrishna, but still, whatever we're doing, we include them. They're part of our. They're with us. These are our deities. These are our things that are meaningful, right? And the idea we don't want to leave anything out, right? Tell me.
If we have a special saint or sannyasi,
Yeah.
what would you say?
Well, sometimes we use like when I'm in people's home and I see saints on their shrine, right? Then we usually do like a guru mantra. Because we think they may not be our Diksha guru, but we have some relationship that way. Sometimes they have their own mantra. Sometimes you can turn their name into a mantra, or Manarishi can be Om Ramaya Namaha. Or you can, maybe they're, and sometimes you ask people, they're like, I ask when I go to people's shrines, when I'm doing home pujas, I go to who's that? There's sometimes they're really small little things that have been passed down, there's a little silver Lakshmi that's this big. But I mean, that's been in their family for generations. Right, that's Lakshmi in their home, So you have to worship Lakshmi. So who's that? And then there's like, this is our Grama Devata. Who's that? It says. They look at me. I don't know. It's our Grama Devata. They don't know it. They don't know the name. So it looks like a mound, like a red mound of mud with kumkum all over it. Right. So we Om Grama Devata Bhyo Namaha. Like we do something, right? When Trishul, professor, was at visiting my house and my apartment in Berkeley, where I was doing puja every morning. He just sit and meditate. He says, Trishulji, can you do puja? I can do puja. He was trained in puja, but he didn't know all my deities. I have Nishingadev and this and that and all these. They're unique to my shrine, right? But he did. It was very nice. He worshipped each one. Every male deity, he did Ramakrishna's mantra, and every female deity, he did Holy Mother's mantra. Sarva Devi Devi Surupaya Sri Ramakrishna. That was perfect. It's like he honored he didn't leave anybody out. He has, sometimes he has, is that a man or is that female or male? Sometimes it's not even clear. It's a little mound with orange powder over it. It becomes your worshipful deity, Right? So the worship, the idea you want everything should be honored and respected. It's invited. These are your deities. These are your family deities, your personal deities, your lineage deities, right? So we invite them when we're doing puja. But also, they live in your house, right? So you can't just walk by somebody who lives there when you're doing something auspicious, especially on an auspicious occasion. Everyone should be worshipped. On Amavasya, we go around. It takes us 20 minutes to make every shalagram has a tulsi. Every deity in the library gets a flower. Everybody, when something big's happening, everybody has to be honored. Everybody has to be fed. Everybody has to be remembered. And with each one of them, Sri Padukam Pujyami, we're touching each one of their feet and we're getting their blessings. Right? We need the blessings of all. That's the thing. Puja is actually not us. It's not actually us worshiping and giving stuff to God. God doesn't need anything. Right? It's us begging God's blessings. This is the way. Even when we offer a flower, with this fairy flower, I give you this. But actually that's not it, anything. It's like, oh good, finally somebody gave me a flower. Right? Oh good, somebody's asking for blessing. That's what it means, right? Oh, please give me your blessings. Please give me your blessings. And also people worship. Also, devotees are worshipped. Saints are worshipped. Trees are worshipped. Tulsi is worshipped. Stones are. The ground is worshipped. Everything is. Fire is worshipped. We give everything blessing. Whereas, as Ram Priyadas says, we bow in all directions. Jai Maka, we're being full. We have to go. We'll do puja. So speaking of that, we have to worship all the deities inside and do arati. Thank you for your kind attention. You can figure out how to turn that and save it. We can upload it to his. Let me turn this off. Jai Ma. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Anybody wants to see Ma inside?
Okay.
Yeah. No problem.